What's the expectation for the team heading into the season?
Well, I think it's the first year that we haven't had Emma Saxton and Megan Cordoni in a very long time. Obviously Megan was here 6 years, Emma was here 5 years. So the expectation going into the season was like, oh wow, we're missing our grandmas, so to speak, as far as our experience goes. So I kind of don't know. I think across the board, not just with our team, I think in the east side of the conference in particular, I think a lot of teams lost a lot of key players. So I think it could really go kind of any way. I'm very pleased with what we've been doing in the preseason so far. I'm very pleased with how we've been at practice. I think we have a ton of balanced scoring. I think defensively is where I'm concerned the most, just because Emma and Megan were two of our best defenders. So I think it's really up in the air this year, I think, for us and for pretty much everyone else in the PSAC East. So it'll be exciting to see what happens.
What was something the team struggled with last year that you kind of hope to improve on this year?
I think we got better last year with our three-point shooting. That's kind of been our Achilles heel the last couple years. We've had dominant post play since I've been here, and we haven't always been able to balance that with outside shooting. And I think this year we have a lot more outside shooting, so I think it's going to be harder for teams to double team us in the post without us getting kickouts for open threes and shooters that can knock them down. We've added a lot of really talented shooting guards, so I would say that's probably the biggest area. And then just looking to build off of our, defensive past. We've always been pretty solid in the conference defensively. And like I said, I think that's going to be the make or break area for us. If we're defending, I think we're always going to be in games. And if we're not defending, I think, we might have a harder time getting some wins.
I'm super excited for this upcoming 22-23 season. Obviously, our expectations are always the same, to compete for a conference championship, to try to make it to the NCAA tournament, give ourselves a chance there, but just to get better every single day, work really hard, practice extremely hard, and compete. So we have Deja Terrell returning for her 5th year. She was Player of the Year, she was Defensive Player of the Year last year. Looking for a big season from her, but also returning our point guard, Sierra Lloyd, who was first team all-conference last year. And just, excited to see their chemistry after playing together 1 year. That point guard big kind of chemistry they have built. So I'm excited for that. But also, Hallie Harrington returning with lots of experience for us in our system for a long time. So I'm excited for those returners. So we have 7 newcomers to our program, which is a lot for us. It takes a little bit of time to learn our system. So they've been doing a really good job. Excited about Raja Fink. She's been in the PSAC for 4 years, all conference player. So she has jumped right in, really fits our system well. So excited for her. Also, Jordan Smith has been in the PSAC, played in some big games. Last year made the NCAA tournament for Shepherd. So I think, those two have been tested in our conference and will be really big additions for us. We have a super challenging schedule. The Mountain East number 2, 3, and 4 we play, in our conference challenge, and then we also play Fairmont at Fairmont. So pretty challenging to start with, but we kind of do that for a reason, because the PSAC West is very difficult year in and year out, and it will be no different this year. So, we want to prepare ourselves well for PSAC play.
First year as the head coach of the program, just talk a little bit about what you expect out of your roster and your team in 2022-23.
Good question. So I think with us, we're super talented, but we're fairly young. We're going to play a different style of basketball, just learning how to set new screens, play the right way, get the ball up the court pretty fast. Use our post players. We have 2 young post players that are talented. Just try to learn how to make post entry passes into them and how to play off of them.
Talk a little bit about the schedule, especially the early part of the schedule, non-conferences. You're trying to ease into things with your program.
This is probably by far the toughest schedule we've had here at Clarion. Pretty much every team, they're just loaded with Division I transfers, and they've strengthened teams that were already strong. There's going to be great competition for us.
Talk a little bit about people that maybe, it's tough to set expectations on any individuals early on. You let everybody do their thing. But who are you looking for to really step forward and lead this team this season?
Senior Jada Smith, she should be really good for us. She's playing really well right now. This is her 5th year. Olivia Books, another senior for us. She should have a good year for us. Sierra Bermudez coming with her sophomore year. She's playing really well right now. In addition to our freshman post players, which I feel pretty good about.
Okay, Steph, so you talk about your big group of returners, your team, most of your team.
Yeah, so we returned 11 players, which is really exciting. Ryan Weesey's a senior this year, and so is Claire Quarter, and they're definitely going to be able to help us out. We have 3 freshmen and 2 transfers, one from Wagner, one from LIU. Shyla will be a senior, and Cassidy's a transfer that's going to be a sophomore. So we're looking to have a lot of veterans on the team this year.
Awesome. And then if you go through your schedule, I guess just first with non-conference, you have it tough with, the exhibition with St. Francis Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Then kind of you dive right into the Millersville tournament.
Yeah, so we're opening up at St. Francis Brooklyn for an exhibition. They did really well last year, and they returned most of their team as well. So that's going to be a challenge for us. Then we open up at the Millersville tournament, and then we're able to have a home game at the end of November against Jefferson, which is a nice rival, in-state rival that we have.
Great. And if you could talk about the PSAC schedule a little bit, obviously, we got to face them twice in and out. I guess what are your expectations? How do you see the league this year?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really tough league. I think a lot of teams are returning most of their squad like we are. So definitely looking forward to getting to play everybody again, because last year we struggled a little bit with our competition during the year. So we're looking forward to having our whole team back to get back on the court.
We're here with head coach Callie Wheeler as we get ready for PSAC Media Day. Coach, you've got a really nice mix of veteran players and newcomers, top 5 scorers back. What can you tell us about your team when you have that much veteran presence?
First off, it's been extremely competitive. Last year, we said if we wanted to win games, we had to win in practice. And with the experience back, with a blend of 3 freshmen, 3 transfers, preseason has been extremely competitive. The first week of practice has been really high energy, and we're seeing a lot of growth in some players that have returned and in our new players as well.
So as you get ready to take on the PSAC and specifically the PSAC West, how does that depth help you in a league like the PSAC?
I think tremendously. We didn't have a lot of depth last year in our guard play, and that's a piece that I think we'll bring this year. I think that our guards have had a great off-season. They understood how great the guard play is in the PSAC, and over the summer they put in a lot of work individually to improve their individualized skills, and now it's all coming together as they're competing in practice as a team, and we have a lot more depth in our post play as well this year. We had the injury bug a little bit in that position, but we brought in some new players, and we have players that are recovering from injuries last year, and it's going to be a great mix. I'm really excited about the depth that we will carry into the season, since it's such a long season.
Thanks, Coach.
We have a very experienced team, and preseason's been very interesting because when you have almost half of your team that's been through it multiple times, there's just a different air about it. It's kind of their first last time, their first last time going in. We've kind of used that phrase a little bit, but it's been the preparation's been good. Love the fact that because we have returning players, they're doing a great job of teaching our younger players and being a great example for our younger players on how to prep. You know what, we want to get better, just get a little bit better every day, go out and compete every time, to go for it, just to go for it. And we're talking about with our team right now that yes, the scoreboard is important, but what's most important is that we go for it, and that when we step on the floor, that we feel like we've given it everything that we have, and so that we know that if we do that, we can walk off the floor with our heads up, no matter what the scoreboard looks like. We have many people, more than half the team that are returning, have seen some success in the past. I think certainly that experience has been a huge positive. I think our unity is really strong. I think our players are striving to be great teammates and wanting to care for each other and also wanting to push each other and to, when you care for somebody, you want the best for them. And that means sometimes you're encouraging them and putting your arm around them. Sometimes you're kicking them in the butt, and holding them accountable. So all of that involved, I think that's been something that we've been able to grow in. I love the PSAC. The PSAC is a great conference. It's one of the best in the country. There's no question.
Here with new IUP women's basketball coach Craig Carey prior to the women's basketball season here. And coach, obviously preseason very important. Getting here, what has the preseason sort of been like for you and your staff on a little bit of an accelerated timeline since your arrival here?
Yeah, it's been intense. We kind of hit the ground running. Had to get girls in shape. We're going to play a lot faster this year. So there's a little bit of an adjustment period, but they're starting to really come along now. Did a lot of skill development, it's a lot of change of defensive philosophies, offensive philosophies. A lot of these kids have never really run a fast break with structure, and that's what we're doing this year. So a lot of learning, but they've really been, every day they come ready to work, and we've gotten a lot better.
What has sort of been your overall assessment of the roster so far since you've arrived here at IUP?
The one thing I would say is they're all hard workers, and that's something that I can work with. If you're willing to come in every day and work, then I'm going to meet you halfway. And a lot of the kids, even the freshmen, have come so far already, just from start of the workouts to just the practices now. The roster, I think this is something that every player on the roster is going to have to do something that they've never done. A lot of these kids are people who were role players last year. They're going to be asked to do a little bit more this year, and they're more than willing to step up to the plate. And I'm going to make sure that I keep kind of pushing them every day to get better and better, and I think the team's going to respond to that.
And then looking at your schedule, obviously starting with a Division I exhibition at Duke, sort of setting the pace for a tough PSAC West grind. What's your assessment been so far, kind of the schedule to this point?
Yeah, I mean, it shapes up a lot. I'm used to Power 5 and the Big 12. Shapes up a lot like that, to where every game is going to be a game. There's no pushovers in this league. There's no easy nights. So any team can come in and beat you, and you can go into anywhere and beat them. You got to really have your head on straight every game. You got to stick to your game plans, and there's a lot of different styles. So, especially with our style, we like to run, we like to pressure defense, and, it may throw some teams off, and some teams like to slow it down, may throw us off. So it's going to be a battle every night.
Kutztown University is excited for the 22-23 women's basketball season. We were fortunate enough to have most of our players back from last year's team, which was able to win the East and go pretty far in the PSAC tournament. We have goals that we want to reach this year, which is clearly to try and win the East again and make it to that championship game. Returning for us are our stars is Casey Romaldi, who was second team all-conference player, one of the best defensive players in the PSAC. We have Abby Hearn, who was a Rookie of the Year last year. She is back, and we're excited to see the progress that she has made since that season. We also have Sydney Pearson coming off of an injury in our senior class, Annie Whalen, who played significant minutes off the bench for us. We expect those kids to really make an impact, as well as Nia Pulliam from Delaware. Should be probably a starter a lot of other places, but will probably be the sixth man off our bench, depending on how we're doing and who we're playing. But we are certainly excited about the core group of these kids coming back. We have 3 new kids on the team that we're looking forward to see how they do and how they make the jump from high school to college. And that is Olivia Smellis and Layla Hurley from Jim Thorpe High School. One's a wing player, one's a post player. They wish to provide us some support and some backup in those positions, as well as Sophia Coleman from Gwynedd Mercy, and she was also a wing player. They bring a lot of energy and a lot of excitement, but they are young. So for a fairly veteran team, it will all be new for them, but how they mesh with the upper kids will determine how good a season that we have. But we are certainly looking forward to it. Our team's going to be run by Zara Zerman and Bella Curry. Those are our 2 little generals, and so far preseason they've done a fantastic job, and we're really looking forward to the season.
Hi, this is Jen Smith, head coach at Lock Haven University. We're excited to be back for the 22-23 basketball season. We're going to look a lot different this year. We graduated 2 all-conference post players, but we are excited, and we have 3 players back that saw major minutes last year in Carly Fitzmaurice, Jackie Fetzko, and Brooke Lawyer. We also have Taylor Lady back from her season-ending injury, and she is 100% and ready to go. And then 2 other newcomers that should see minutes right away are transfer Olivia Smith, who came in last year mid-season, and then true freshman Alana Robinson. We're going to kick off the season November 12th at Seton Hill, where we're going to play Wheeling and Virginia State. And we're also super excited to host last year's Division II national champion Glenville State here in Thomas Fieldhouse in mid-December. Good luck to everybody.
I'm looking forward to see what we can do this year, hopefully improve on what we did last year. Playoffs is our goal, so I'm looking forward to that, and the girls are looking forward to this season as well. Well, we have Jazz Hilton returning. She was an all-conference player last year, and she's been looking pretty good in practice. And then we have Olivia Paglo, who also had a good showing at the end of the season last year, so we're looking for her to step up her senior year. We added Coach Davis to our coaching staff, John Davis. He had been here a couple years ago, but now he's back in the assistant role. He's doing a great job so far, so we're looking forward to keep that going as well.
So Coach, new season upon us now. How are your feelings coming into the upcoming year?
Pretty optimistic. I think we got a lot of talent on our roster. I think we can play into our depth a little bit. I think we have some coaching. Our coaching staff is all really good teachers of the game. So there's really no place to run or hide for everybody on our roster, and we're kind of just taking it day by day, very simple progressions, but we're really excited to kind of focus on doing simple better.
You all were able to bring in 5 new players to the season, a couple of graduates along with 3 freshmen. How do you feel like they can make an impact here in year 1?
I think our freshman class is doing really well in the preseason. Bailey is one of our hardest workers that we're going to have for 4 years, so we're extremely thrilled about Bailey. Soph is so slinky in transition. She can just do things naturally that not a lot of players on our roster can do, and Jenna is really calm and composed for a freshman, and she defends really well. So I think that freshman class really complements each other really well, and each kind of bring very good things to the table that we don't really have out of our roster currently. And then our 2 transfers are kind of sliding right in and kind of making immediate impacts. Lexi's such a solid decision maker, and she has such incredible footwork around the rim, and anytime she gets 2 feet in the paint, and kind of a really good shooter too, but she defends well as well. And then Danny is really defending well and really solid decision maker. So we're just trying to get as many reps as we can with everybody to kind of learn how to play together and stuff. But like I said, we got a lot of depth this year with that recruiting class, so we're really looking forward to it.
This upcoming season I'm very excited about. Our schedule's pretty tough, but excited to get tested early so that, by the end of the season that we're rolling. Our newcomers and our returners are blending well, and everyone are working well together, so excited about what's to come. Yeah, although we do have obviously returners, we're still young. We brought in a really big class last year, so our returners are still young, but it's been exciting to see them embrace leadership roles and grow together as a unit. Brenna Ortwine and LaShira Williams, are leading the charge with being our captains and being our leaders, and it's very great to see, although Brenna is only a sophomore, LaShira would be technically a junior. Everyone buying into their leadership style and growing together, and then our incoming we brought in 4 freshmen and 2 transfers, so we have some leadership there with bringing in grad transfers, and their experience alone is helping lead the charge, as well as leading the team and creating expectations from that realm. And then our freshmen that are new, they are all stars from their previous high schools. However, they are blending well and growing in the college game, and excited to see it all put together. Yeah, a lot of tough opponents for us is a great way to phrase that. I wanted to make our schedule very competitive. We saw last year that, we got to compete. We got to compete at a high level in order to be successful in this conference. It being the best Division II conference there is. And so our early challenges will hopefully help us at the end of the season be able to go on a run and make a playoff run.
We're really excited for this season. It's a little bit of a different look for us. The team's been working really hard. Last year we had a really young class with 3 sophomores or kids that had played for me before and 9 newcomers. So it's been a little bit different this preseason, having 13 returners back, and we're really excited to kind of see where the season's going to take us. We thought we did some good things last year, and we're looking to build off that momentum. We're returning 3 double-digit scorers, and Ashley Norling, who's a senior this year, junior Olivia Fasik, and sophomore Peyton Alazos. We also have another senior returning, Michaelin Clapper, who we're expecting to continue to contribute on and off the court. And then we have what we think is a pretty good freshman class, and then a whole host of other kids that we're expecting to make major contributions for us. We're just excited. We have a pretty tough schedule early on, non-conference, and some pretty good exhibition games. So we're excited just to tip the ball up and see where the season goes.
We're very excited about this season. It's an opportunity again to play in one of the premier conferences and premier divisions in all of Division II, and we don't take that lightly. 13 of our players have never played a game at Seton Hill, so we've had name tags on all fall to try to get to know one another. But our hope is that we can be there at the end and be a part of the mix and be in the conversation towards the end of the season. We'll certainly welcome all the new coaches into our conference. I think we join along with all the other coaches and players and just send our best wishes to Slippery Rock for the loss of Coach Bobby McGraw, who was a great colleague and a dear friend, and certainly wish them the best as they go through this season. But we're happy to have other coaches here in the conference, and it will do nothing but make this strong conference even stronger.
It's pretty obvious that this year's team is very different than last year's. We have 3 new staff members, 6 new players, along with 6 returning players from last year's roster. This year we're really just trying to build on past success, but we have some kids that have really stepped up. Kara Miner, Megan Shipley, Sydney Bowles, and Madison Mertz. They've done a really good job in the preseason of really communicating and being open to new drills. I think that they're going to do really well this year for us. Other players that we have on the roster, Kendall Haggerty, she's a really good shooter from Frederick, Maryland. We have the Miller twins. They've done a really good job of cleaning up the boards for us. And then we have Dee Harrison, who's a local kid, and we also have Peyton Grant. She's a freshman from Maine. They're all really working hard, really excited about this year. This team is really trying to find their identity and leadership roles, so it'll be really interesting to see what they do on the court this year. But they work really hard, and they're a good group to be around. This year we'll be tested early. We play Morgan State on November 7th, and then we play Alderson and Broadus November 11th, and then Frostburg November 12th. This year we're dedicating our season to the last 50 years of women's basketball at Shepherd, so I'd love for you guys to come out and see us play.
Very excited to start another season in the PSAC, really hoping it's a normal one. I've been very pleased with the effort and the energy that our players have brought to preseason and now to official practice, hoping to build every day. Obviously we have telescope goals and want to always compete for the division, the conference, and regional championships. Right now we're just focusing a lot on our microscope goals, which are hopefully just to improve every day from practice and be better than we were the day before. We did lose 3 starters from our roster last year. We do return Ariel Jones and Lauren Pettis, who are all conference players, as well as 5 other returning players to the roster. We've bolstered it with 8 new players coming, 5 freshmen, 3 transfers. So we're really optimistic about what we can put out on the floor. Probably some key players in the new positions would be freshman Michaela Fodrell, has really come out and done some things in practice, as well as Ellie Goldwyn in our post position, who's progressing very well. So we're hoping that it can be a productive season for us, trying to get better every single day and compete when we step out in what's a very difficult PSAC schedule. We're excited again to open up in our own conference challenge with Bowie State and Fayetteville State, play some of our other non-conference, Jefferson, Holy Family. But we know how difficult the PSAC is, and I think we're going to be up for the challenge this year. Really excited to get rolling.
My name is Shanara Wilson. I am the new women's head basketball coach here at Slippery Rock University. With the passing of Bobby McGraw, I will be taking over the program for this year. We would like to dedicate this season to Bobby McGraw with his untimely passing. Our team is dealing with it, but it's been sort of a roller coaster because it's all still fresh. We have 11 returners this season. Still fairly young. We only have 2 seniors this year, 2 being Delia Gibson and Kennedy Middleton, who will be a big part for us this season. We also have Isabella Middleton coming back, who got injured halfway through the season, who will also be a big part for us this year. Along with the Venick twins, who will be returning. I think they will be a big factor for us. With us only having 2 seniors and being very young this season, there is a lot of opportunity for any of the younger players to come up and play a big role in what we have going on. Kennedy was our leading scorer with 9 points last year, so I believe that anybody can come and make an impact. And I just think that gives us an opportunity to be hard to defend. Our newcomers, Christina Danza is a transfer from the Navy who I think will be a good help for us this season. We have 5 freshmen coming in. I think they will be a good help. Jada Ward will be a point guard and a good backup for us, along with Ariana Mitchell, who will be a center. I think she will also be a big help for Kelly McKnight, as well as Anissa Parker being a center. I think we have a lot of older players who can help our younger players advance.
Joined here with head coach Garrett Woodman. Coach, talk about the upcoming season.
I'm definitely looking forward to the season. I think that we have a good balance between our returners and our newcomers that we have coming in. We'll be spearheaded by first-team all-conference player Leah Johnson, who's basically led us in all statistical categories last year. And alongside her, we have Lex Abenizio, who started as a freshman and saw significant minutes, along with Maya Carter, who as a freshman saw significant playing time. And then if you couple that with the fact that we brought in 5 transfers, some of which are Division I in Emily McAteer and then Michelle, and I'm not even going to try to butcher her last name, but they came from Division I programs, so they've definitely added depth and size to our roster, as well as some other transfers who have played, at the collegiate level. So we've added more experience as well as depth to the team. So we're looking forward to seeing how all the pieces mesh together and seeing what we can do this year. We'll be tested early, obviously, since our first game of the season is against defending national champions in Glenville. We know that they're a high-powered offensive team. They always put up a lot of numbers, so we're looking forward to being tested early and then seeing where we go from there. But we're definitely thinking that this team has the potential to make some noise in the conference, and we're just looking forward to seeing how that pans out throughout the year.